It's been a phenomenal month of football with great games and big upsets, which fuel the title challenges all over Europe even more. Welcome back to the channel, and let's just begin the monthly review without any further delay. At the end of the month, the table looks like this, with Liverpool standing at the top with 14 points and trailing behind are Manchester City with 13, Chelsea with 13, and Manchester United with 13 points apiece, which rounds up the top 4 in the Premier League. Brighton have been the surprise package this Premier League round in both of the months, and but they are yet to be facing the top teams. And I guess the test starts with next week with them facing Arsenal. Arsenal and Spurs have had contrasting months of football. Arsenal, who lost like 3 games on the trot, and Arteta was under constant pressure, have won 3 on the trot now. Whether against good or bad teams, I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point because they lost to Brentford 2-0, so anything can happen. And Spurs, who won their opening 3 match days, have now lost 3 consecutively, including one to Arsenal in the North London derby. And Nuno, who was the Premier League manager of the month, is now under constant pressure. Brentford have really looked good and have played an attacking brand of football. Whether that has been rewarding or not is questionable, but still, I think that they play beautiful football, and it is actually pretty appreciative that a team coming from straight from the championship have produced such good quality football. But it could be different, as in the case with Sheffield United, who in their first season looked really good, but then faltered off of the Premier League the next season. Aston Villa and West Ham have also been giving tough competition to the top teams. Leicester hasn't looked really good, and this month, and it's really putting the pressure on Brendan Rodgers. And all of the last 5 teams, namely Southampton, Newcastle, Leeds, Burnley, and Norwich, still remain winless after 6 games. And Wolves are the team, I think, that have actually kind of copied the Brighton of the last season with managing to get expected goals but still wasting chances because of their poor finishing. As for the top four in the Premier League till now, Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, and Manchester United. Talking about Liverpool, I think they have been fantastic, but I think they have had problems with their midfield, I think, who have not been tracking back or being positionally really good defensively, and that is how teams like Brentford, with whom they drew 3-3, and Chelsea, who they drew 1-1, and their goals and the opposition's goals have come that way most of the times. Talking about Manchester City, I think that the opening loss to Tottenham was a bit odd because it did not even create that many chances that game. I think after that they have been pretty good, aside from the Southampton game, which they actually managed to create chances but could not finish them. But I think Southampton have also been a good defensive side, so yeah, it does matter actually. Talking about Chelsea, the current UCL holders, I think that they have been pretty good under Thomas Tuchel, but I think that the poor form of Havertz and Mount is a bit worrying, which causes them to play in a 3-5-2 formation with Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante in the midfield, and Timo Werner and Lukaku up front, and this just makes them park the bus most often than not, and that is how they lost to Manchester City, who were unrelenting in their fixture against Chelsea. I think Manchester United are the usual suspects. I think that I think that I don't think there is a problem with the manager. I think that Oli is not yet a good coach for Manchester United. I think their system revolves around individual brilliance a lot more than it should, and that was on display against Aston Villa, where they lost 1-0. And I think that was a deserved loss and a deserved result for Aston Villa as well. And who could forget the last minute penalty which Bruno Fernandes straight up put into the orbit of Mars. So yeah, I think that the top four have been good, aside from Manchester United, of course. But I think Chelsea need a new system or some attacking flair in their midfield. Manchester needs some clinicality, and as for Liverpool, I think that they need a good midfield, as were my concerns for them before the season started. As for the La Liga, Real Madrid continue their dominating form and are still atop the points table with 17 points from 7 games with 5 wins and 2 draws. Behind them are Real Sociedad, Sevilla and Atleti with 16, 14 and 14 points apiece, rounding up the top 4 in the La Liga. Real Madrid have had impressive spells this month as well as the previous month, and I think that they have become defensively better in comparison to the previous month. And Karim Benzema has been on absolute fire this season. I think he has got like 8 goals and 7 assists in 7 games already, which is absolutely crazy numbers. And if he maintains that for Real Madrid, he could actually just eliminate the need for Kylian Mbappe, I think, this season. Also, I think that this month of September was only ruined by the painful draw against Villarreal, which ended in a 0-0 result. Second place Sociedad have also been impressive, and their only defeat of this season have come against Barca in their opening encounter at Camp Nou, and that was back in August. They lost by a 4-2 margin, by the way. Atleti have found it difficult to get a goal in games, but they have found ways to win, as champions do, I think. And they have been winning pretty interesting ties with in the 90 plus 10th minute most of the times, and finding last minute screamers to win games. So yeah, I think that they have been good also. Defensively, offensively somewhat poor, and I think that Simeone has to look into this because the amount of attacking depth they have got, it is absolutely unbearable to see them perform. Even like, I refrain from watching their matches because they are so uninteresting, even if they have that attacking depth. The month of nightmare for Barcelona in the league continues, as they have had unconvincing games over unconvincing games in encounters with Bilbao and Getafe the previous month, and to the disaster class against Granada and Cadiz, which they drew 1-1 and 0-0 respectively. The draw against Granada was especially so pathetic. They resorted to bring Piqué on as a substitute and played him as a striker instead. So that is how dire the situation has been in Barcelona. They have had a convincing victory, however, against lower table Levante, who have been quite a conceding team this season in both of the months. So I think they would like to continue their form if they want to finish in the top 4 this season, because there is a lot of competition they would have to face from the likes of Sociedad, Betis, Sevilla, Atleti and so many other teams that have become competitive. Also, Emery's Villarreal now stand at 11th place with 5 draws from 6 games, which has been their problem since the previous season, and I think that Emery would like to correct it. In the Serie A this season, Napoli after September stand at the top with 6 wins from 6 and 18 points out of 18. In second stand AC Milan, and in third are Inter Milan with 16 and 14 points apiece. And in fourth are AS Roma with 12 points from 6 games. And the 5th, 6th, 7th places are occupied by Fiorentina, Lazio and Atalanta, which round up the top 7. Napoli have been absolutely dominating in their series of games this season, and they have unearthed. I think that they have unearthed the gem that is Victor Osimhen, who has been absolutely brilliant, both I think in the league campaign and also in the Europa League. And Milan still continue to be undefeated, and so are their rivals Inter Milan. Both of whom have got fantastic and competitive squads. Jose Mourinho-led AS Roma seem to be doing a fine job of getting on with this league campaign, with Chelsea brought striker Tammy Abraham doing quite a fine job. However, I think that they have struggled in the month of September, and especially against their local rivals Lazio. And finally, Juventus have finally found some form. Surprise, surprise. And they have recorded their first 2 wins of the season against Sampdoria and Spezia. Although I think that they still look like a work in process, it is clear to me that Allegri prefers Chiesa to be the man for Juventus, and he has been doing wonders this season. Bayern sit atop the Bundesliga as usual, with Leverkusen, Wolfsburg and Dortmund rounding up the top 4 in the league. Leverkusen have only lost to around Dortmund, and that was also in a great encounter which Dortmund won 4-3 thanks to Erling Haaland. Early leaders Wolfsburg have now fallen up to 3, but they still look formidable, and I think that they are pretty good for the rest of the league. Borussia Dortmund are at their traditional best, good but inconsistent at times, because their only focus here is Erling Haaland, and he is the one who is carrying this club, along with I guess Bellingham to an extent. So yeah, I think that is all there is to Bundesliga till now. In the Ligue 1, which is the French league, Paris Saint-Germain expectedly lead the rankings, placing in the first place with 8 wins in 8 games. However bad they have played in them. Just take the example of Olympique Lyon game, where they won 2-1 at the brink of full time. And Lens finished second, who have 15 points. So you can see how big the gap between the first and second place here is. It is worth 9 points now. So Lens are right now second with 15 points from 8 games, winning 4 of their games and drawing 3 and losing 1. And they have been good this month around, as compared to the previous month where they had 3 draws in 4 games. OGC Nice are in third place with 7 games played and 14 points acquired, and Marseille are also in 7th place with 14 points, equal to OGC Nice, and have dropped off a little bit since the good form they picked up previous month. And Angers complete the top 5 in the French league this season till now. Olympique Lyon have not been that good, but they managed to hold back PSG till the full time at least, so that is quite an achievement, and they stand at 7th position. Monaco are in 8th, just behind them, and the champions, the previous year champions, Lost Lille, are now 9th, and their terrible run of form has somewhat reduced, I guess, in this month, where they won 2 games on the trot. So yeah, that is all there is to Ligue 1 for this month. The Champions League has also been providing the much needed entertainment, and it has been quite an exhilarating month of Champions League football. And it is good to see some fine football and big upsets already on the show. So, yeah, let's just discuss about it now. Going over to Group A in the Champions League, PSG now stand in the first place with Club Brugge following behind, Man City occupying the third place, and RB Leipzig being the last. Paris Saint-Germain actually struggled against Club Brugge, and they were like completely outplayed by Club Brugge. And if Club Brugge were a little efficient in converting their chances to actual goals, they would have actually won the game, no doubt about it. But I think that was an abysmal performance, and I don't think that the team actually clicked in that match. And I think following that, however, in the Manchester City match, PSG looked quite the opposite. I think that defensive restructure or defensive solidifying has become the priority for Pochettino, and I think that PSG defended really well against Manchester City. So they actually, I think that PSG were defensively quite good, but I think that Pochettino most of the times like literally parked the bus sometimes. But I think it is okay against a possession-based team such as Manchester City. Going over to Club Brugge, they managed to draw against PSG and win against Leipzig, and in some fashion, I guess they are a pretty attacking team as for the looks of it. And I think with Leipzig down in fourth place now, they have a really good chance to end up in the Europa League places. Man City finished at the end of this month third after losing to PSG and winning 6-3 to Leipzig, which was an interesting encounter. I think that Manchester City was good that game against PSG, but I think that they defensively got actually owned by the PSG attack, and I think that PSG attack is like a cheat code too. There is less you can do to stop it, so I think you can give them some leverage this time around. RB Leipzig, however, have not been that good aside from who was it? Nkunku, who has been a really good player for them, and he bagged a hat-trick against Manchester City only to lose 6-3. So yeah, their defense has been atrocious in the Champions League. So yeah, let's just get on with the next group now. In Group B of the Champions League, Liverpool stand atop with 2 wins in 2 and garnering 6 points already. Atletico Madrid stand in second with 4 points from 2 games. Porto stand in third with a single point in 2 games, and AC Milan in last with 0 points from 2 games. I think that AC Milan have been hard done by both Liverpool and Atletico in the early matches of the Champions League, and I think that Liverpool have performed excellently both against AC Milan and to come from 2-0 down to 3-2. That is quite an achievement, I guess. And against Porto, they literally bashed them. I think that it is an annual thing now, so it is nothing special that Liverpool literally spanked FC Porto. That has become a yearly thing now. So yeah, I think that Atletico have been really bad in attack, as they have been in the their domestic league campaign as well. They have not really been that stellar with their attack, and that was evident against Porto, which ended up in a 0-0 draw. And against Milan, they had to go to 90th plus 10th minute again to win the game with a last minute goal from Antoine Griezmann. So yeah, I think Atletico Madrid are well placed, but Milan have been hard done by. FC Porto have been all right, but I think that their keeper has been atrocious both against Liverpool and against Atletico. However, he did not concede against Atletico because Atletico's attack is even worse. So yeah, that's it from Group B. In Group C of the Champions League, Ajax and Borussia Dortmund have been dominating, with Ajax in first place with 2 wins from 2, and also Borussia Dortmund with 2 wins from 2. The only difference is their goal difference, and Besiktas and Sporting have not been that characteristic. I think Ajax have been absolutely dominating, and I think you have to give some credit to Ten Hag, who has been a wonderful coach from them, and Sebastian Haller has been like the top scorers in Champions League this season till now. I know it's only been 2 games, but yeah, he has been excellent this time around. Borussia Dortmund has won, but it's always been like narrow games. They managed to win 1-0 against Sporting and 2-1 against Besiktas. However, Ajax have been convincingly winning 5-1 against Sporting and 2-0 against Besiktas. So yeah, that actually is evident of how well they have been doing. I think that Ajax have a system that works really well for them. So yeah, I think it is pretty evident now in this group that who is the better team. So yeah, that is all from Group C of the Champions League. Group D of the Champions League is where the juicy bits are. The big upsets and like the good games are. Surprisingly, in Group D, FC Sheriff, the Champions League debutants, are 2 wins from 2 matches, and they stand atop with 6 points. Real Madrid in second with 3 points from 2 games. Inter Milan with third with a single point from 2 games, and Shakhtar Donetsk with a single point from 2 games as well. I think that Sheriff has been like good counter attacking wise, and like their win against Real Madrid was a big upset. Like, consider this, they are the debutants of the Champions League and they defeat the 13-time Champions League winner, so that is a pretty big thing. And I think that FC Sheriff would at least now back the Europa, and this creates problems for clubs like Shakhtar and Inter, who would at least want a Europa place. So yeah, I think this group will tend to get better with time, I guess. The more matches they are played, the more would be the excitement in this group. Real Madrid have been good, but I think that defensively, as always, not as always, but you get the point. They have not been good this season defensively in the Champions League, and that's why they have suffered, I guess, against Sheriff. That first goal was not a good goal to concede. However, I would give them leverage for the second one, which was an absolute worldie, I think. And Inter Milan have lost narrowly to Real Madrid in their first game, and the second game against Shakhtar was a real spectacle of attacking football from both teams, and both teams just went at each other, but it still ended up in a 0-0 draw. So yeah, that is the kind of excitement you would want in a group, and this is the group if you are looking for some good football action. Considering big upsets, we come to Group E, where FC Bayern stand atop the group as expected with 2 wins from 2 and 6 points with a goal difference of 8, which is really high. Then surprisingly, Benfica now stand in second place with 4 points from 2 games. Dynamo Kiev in third place with a single point from 2 games, and really bad and not inspired Barcelona stand in last place with 0 points from 2 games, and they have been equally pathetic in both their games that they have faced against Bayern and Benfica, both of which they lost 3-0. And I think that against Bayern they look helpless, and I think if they are in the rebuilding process, that is fine against Bayern, but they looked as similarly wasteful and pathetic against Benfica as they looked against Bayern. And I think that for a club like Barcelona, it is absolutely not expected of them to perform that bad. And the thing that Dynamo Kiev have also even managed to scrape a point of Benfica now puts real dangers like on Barcelona. And to now get out of this group, they have to win at least like 3 of the 4 games that they face now, 2 of which are against Dynamo Kiev and 1 of which is against the previous fixture winner Benfica. So this group is tend to get juicier as well with time. So yeah, keep a look out for it. And speaking of exciting, the Group F of Champions League has also provided some exciting fixtures in this month. As of now, Atlanta stand at the top with 2 wins with 2 matches played and 4 points. Young Boys, surprisingly, stand at second place with 3 points from 2 games. Manchester United stand at third with 3 points from 2 games, and Villarreal in last with a single point from 2 games. I think that the fixture everyone would be waiting for me to discuss would be the Manchester United Young Boys game, but I think that Manchester United should be given a little leeway, I think, in this case, because they got a red card this game. But to be honest, Manchester United were really not that good tactically that game, and there was no flow in their play. Atlanta, I think, would easily qualify from this group as of now, as it looks now, I guess. And Villarreal have been bad, and they really put a fight against Manchester United, but Manchester United did Manchester United and came back in the last minute to defeat them and manage the 3 points. Of course, Ronaldo on the end of it, as he always is. So yeah, I think that this group is going to get better also. I think that in the future, Manchester United will provide interesting fixtures because they rely on individual brilliance most of the time, as I discussed in the Premier League preview for this month, previously in this video only. So yeah, I think that this will be an interesting group to watch out for. And yeah, that is it from Group F. And among all groups, Group G has been like the most balanced group, with Salzburg in first place with 4 points from 2 games, Sevilla in second place with 2 points from 2 games, Wolfsburg in third place with 2 points from 2 games as well, and LOS Lille, the previous French champions who are performing poorly in the league, are also performing poorly here with a single point from 2 games. So yeah, I think that it's been a pretty balanced group till now, and aside from how poor Lille has been, I think that they could still give a tough competition to everyone around. And this group would be the one where like some unexpected thing happens and some dark horses emerged for the Champions League. So yeah, it's not been a good watch as of yet. There has not been very interesting football right now from this group, but I think in going forward in the Champions League, because 2 of the clubs from this group would be like fairly recent to the Champions League, it would provide much interest in later stages of the Champions League when we are in the knockout phases. Now for the last group, that is Group H, Juventus stand atop this group with 2 wins from 2 games and 6 points. Chelsea, the defending champions, stand at second with a single win from 2 games and 3 points. Zenit also stand at third actually with 3 points from 2 games, and Malmo are last with a -7 goal difference, pretty low, with 0 points as expected, I guess. Juventus have been all right, and they managed to scrape a win against Chelsea, who were equally abysmal in that highly anticipated encounter of Juventus and Chelsea. But yeah, they managed to scrape a win, and I think that Chiesa is absolutely wonderful, and he makes things happen as he did against Chelsea. For Chelsea, I don't think I'm too worried. I don't think that Zenit or Malmo could produce such a big impact in this group so as to throw over Chelsea into Europa or out of Europe even. So yeah, I think that they're pretty safe, and I think Thomas Tuchel would work it out. I think the team has been sluggish in previous 1 to 2 match days. Both in the league and the Champions League, but as good as Tuchel is, I think that he would find a way to make this team work again. So yeah, I don't think that Chelsea need to worry about something. Malmo has been abysmal as everyone expected, and Zenit have been good and have found the win against Malmo as everyone expected. And yeah, so that is it from the monthly review of football. I like if you like the video, dislike if you don't, and subscribe for more of the same if you want to. Yeah, that's it. Goodbye. Bye.